Hi, Anna, and thanks a lot. I mean, for your intervention, for your thoughts, sharing your experience with the audience here in the conference. So, please share a bit more about, I mean, um, how you see this all these network state new intentional communities, all these new establishments. How do you see? I mean, the path forward and your experience with it. I mean, working with these new establishments.
So I'd say that the network state, while communities have always been relevant, how we actually productize that or scale that is still in the very early experimental phases. We are very pioneer right now in terms of exploring how do we create new types of digital communities, and then most importantly, how do we actually connect that to in real life experience lived by people who live together in community, and where the inflection points are between the two. Um, I can speak myself for the project that I work with, which is a project called Good Dollar. It's a crypto universal basic income project that distributes tokens freely all over the world, therefore creating a virtual network state of its own of all of the members that are holding the token and are able to transact in it. And one of the most fascinating elements has actually been seeing how critical physical geographical context is to actually making the network state live as a real economy. And so I think we will continue to see uh, many more experiments that focus not just on the digital URL network states, but actually how we begin to transition those back into the real world.
Very interesting and amazing. And how do you see this financial transition that is happening in the world now? I mean, from like traditional money to crypto and all these new technologies. How do you see the role of these new community network states? Will they be the ones who will kind of make that big revolution, or it will be done by the traditional nation states, or it will, or it is already being done by the ordinary consumers, I mean customers in the world now?
I don't think it's going to be an either or. I think that it's going to be a both and more of an evolution than a revolution per se. I think if you've been building in crypto for long enough, you recognize that governments have a key role to play in terms of acceptance, in terms of driving adoption, in terms of creating the regulatory clarity that encourages entrepreneurs to feel free enough to experiment. And what we're actually seeking to do is to create an augmentatory alternative to just accepting the nation state as is and actually breaking the monopoly on community creation, financial creation. And we're probably going to see a proliferation of systems, currencies, network states, or however you want to call it. I also believe that we're really early on the curve. So it's very hard to say whether or not it's going to be these companies and these builders that exist today, or whether it will actually be what happens 10, 15 years from now. But one thing that I will say is that, innovation happens in an iterative process. So all of the work that we're doing today, no doubt will inform what will be in the future.
Amazing, yeah, and very positive actually comment. The last question is about the timing. I mean, do you think that the timing for you mentioned about the evolution, the time is is right now for this type of evolution, or we still need more more and more organizations, more and more communities to evolve in order to do this, or it's like a long-term process going on? I mean, how is your prediction with timing?
Well, timing is a really challenging prediction, but I will say that the world is changing faster now than ever before. And so we're dealing with an accelerating rate of change. However, I think that, you know, it's hard to say, none of these things exist in a vacuum, right? So, uh, what happens with nation states will push what happens with network states and vice versa. And um, that's a dynamic pendulum. I'll certainly say that as there are more and more examples and experiments that happen, it will continue to accelerate the rate of adoption of network state thinking. And so, probably within the next 5 to 10 years, we're going to start to see some real examples emerge that, even if they're not nation states in and of themselves, or network states, whatever we want to call them in and of themselves, they will begin to actually be workable examples that other communities and can begin to learn from and riff off of and creating the next generation.
Well, thank you. Amazing. Good luck with all that you have been up to, and hope together we'll build a better future.
Definitely. Thank you, Ram.
Thanks a lot.